Hello. Hello. I feel like Emma Chamberlain right now. Like you guys are coming into my podcast when I'm in bed. Anyway, welcome to YAP session. I am sick. These last, I'm honestly just overall not feeling great right now. These last 5 days, I've had a cold, but it's like a weird cold where like I've been taking like Halls and stuff to feel better and like Tylenol, whatever. But like the worst part of this cold is just how much throat pain I have. Like it really hurts, not really only to talk, but like to swallow things. And so that's how I've been doing. But today, nonetheless, the content needs to go out. So today we're talking about Pokemon Go in 2025 and what I think is going to happen. I'll put timestamps below if you want to skip. This is kind of vibey, eh? Being in my bed. Maybe I should do more podcasts from my bed. What was I talking about? Yeah, we're talking about Pokemon Go in 2025. What I think will come to the game, my predictions, and what to expect. So that's what we're going to talk about. I don't know how long of a YAP session this will be because I don't know how much I can talk really before I am in full pain. How have I been doing? Honestly, full disclosure, not great. I was talking to, I think it was my girlfriend about this, but I had my birthday was 2 days ago. It is now Tuesday. My birthday was on Sunday. And this is probably the hardest birthday I've ever had. I feel like, I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but I feel like as you grow up, when you have a birthday, I don't know if it's like you have so many expectations or it's just so much pressure comes on because you're getting older and maybe you feel like you haven't done as much as you've wanted to do yet. Or maybe it's just a pressure of a birthday. It's like just another day, but it should feel so special, I guess. So nonetheless, point is my birthday, kind of tough this year, Also on top of that, I was sick on my birthday, so that's not great. But we got through it. We're here. Pokédaxi is now 24. I am an older human. 24, entering my sister texted me and she was like, happy birthday. Welcome to your mid-20s. And I was like, huh. And I know I'm saying this and probably some of you guys watching are way older than me. And you're like, Dax, you don't know what you're talking about. I probably don't know what I'm talking about. But nonetheless, this is how I feel. And overall, yeah, I don't feel great right now. But we're still going to talk about 2025. We're going to look to the future, try to stay positive, and keep the vibes up. So let's get right into it. Pogo in 2025, what do I expect? First things first, let's talk about something that I really hope to come. And honestly, I could see coming. And that's going to be shiny Zygarde. Now, I'm going to say this with a lot of the things I'm going to say today. I am not well versed on whether these could, I don't know if legally is the word, come to Pokemon Go, because there are certain things that Pokemon Go can't release because they're not even in the main series Pokemon games. So Niantic, getting cold, Niantic wouldn't, ever drop them because the trainer, the Pokemon Trainer Club, the Pokemon Company, haven't dropped them in the main series games. I think this goes along with something like Shiny Keldeo has never been released, so like it would never get dropped in Pokemon Go first. And I think this is the point people bring up to me is like, oh, there are certain Pokemon that, Niantic is never going to drop because it's not a thing in the main series games. I think we had this discussion before. I think the only thing Pokemon Go has ever dropped that wasn't in the main series games yet first was the Shiny Castform forms. But theoretically, Shiny Castform was already out. So anyway, Shiny Zygarde, though, is the first thing I would love to see in Pokemon Go in 2025. Now, the reason I would love to see it is because it's obviously a super nice shiny. If you haven't seen Shiny Zygarde, highly recommend you search it up. It's like a white shiny. It goes from like a black to like a white shiny with the green. Second of all, Zygarde is a very strong Pokemon. And if you haven't seen a Master League, it's rank 1 or 2 or one of the best Pokemon. It is, like, I don't like to say an auto-win Pokemon, but in the lower ranks of Master League, if you have a Zygarde, it can generally sweep the teams. Like in the higher ranks, people know how to deal with it more, but anyway, it's very strong. But the problem with it is you could only get one. And that's a problem that I have as well. Is like I only got one and my IVs weren't great on it. So this made it so like I can power up my Zygarde. And Zygarde is very strong even if its IVs are bad. But I was able to power it up. But people who have a better IV Zygarde are just going to have kind of just an advantage. So it would just be nice, especially when it comes to just strong Pokemon in the Master League, for everyone, I guess, to have an equal opportunity to get like a good IV of that Pokemon, I guess. I need to drink water. This is my water bottle. Mammoth mug. A random story about this mug. Me and my friend were shopping at Sports Check in high school, and then we saw it. And we were like, this could hold a lot of water, and this would make us healthier. So we bought it. That's as far as the story. And then ever since, like, I've broken a couple of these, but I've always bought the same brand, the Mammoth mug. Anyway, Shiny Zygarde, would love to see it. Also, well, I'm not saying one thing, if Shiny Zygarde does come out, is I would definitely have to, I guess, like, re-prep all my cells and start getting my cells back, because that's the one thing about Zygarde is like I've already invested 250 cells into my mid-IV Zygarde, so I have to get back to roots. If they do drop shiny Zygarde, I think it would be a good opportunity for them to, I guess, redo the roots feature and kind of improve upon that feature. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Anyway, moving on to the second thing. We're not going to talk about this one for too long, but Kyurem, black and white Kyurem, obviously most likely coming to Pokemon Go. We talked about this in the Univator predictions video. Actually, I don't think I mentioned this until this part 2 of the holiday event, but if you haven't seen the theme of holiday event part 1 and part 2, the theme of part 1 I thought was ice and fire type Pokemon because of winter and summer for Australians. But actually, after seeing part 2, my graphic designer Flair Blaze brought this up. Part 1 of the holiday event is actually themed off of white Kyurem because it's electric, it's ice and fire spawns, and part 2 is electric and ice spawns. So they're themed off the black and white Kyurem. So most likely they're oding at black and white Kyurem coming. Obviously, black and white Kyurem, technically, it's already actually been in Pokemon Go. It was dropped in Pokemon Go, I think it was 2023 by complete accident. So yeah, it's been in Pokemon Go. Most likely will become 2025. This is probably like a prediction that I most likely will be getting completely correct. Oh, and to interrupt. I forgot to mention this, but I'm going to mention this now. I know a lot of people were thinking of going on the Japan trip. We're doing a Japan trip in March, and one spot has opened up. So I'm going to quickly say, if you were interested when we were first talking about it back in, was it the summertime, a spot opened up. So I'll leave the link below. You can join it. It's going to be a fun trip, 1 week. We're going to do a bunch of Pokemon Go activities. We already have an amazing group going, but there's one more spot. So if you're interested, link below, check it out. Yeah, should be exciting. Should be fun. I already have my tickets. I'm already ready to go. I'm already ready to go to Japan. So anyway, if you already think about doing it and the spot sold out when you were thinking about doing it, now's your chance. Link below. Get it before it's gone. Hope to see you there. Now, a prediction that I don't think I'm going to be incorrect on this, but this is probably the least possible prediction in my opinion, is something about GoFest. Now, GoFest every single year has a huge release. 2020, I don't think 2020 had anything special. Was that the year where every single legendary was in raids? Maybe. 2021, I completely forget what we had. 2022, we had Mega Rayquaza. 2023, which is this year, right? No, we're 2024. 2023 was Mega Rayquaza. What was 2022? Man, I'm sorry. Like, I feel like, I don't know if it's a combination of my brain just being really foggy and me not being mentally there right now. But I feel like I always forget, like, the events. Like, I don't know if you guys have it, but there's so many events in Pokemon Go, they almost mesh. Nonetheless, last year was Necrozma. The year before that was Mega Rayquaza. Most likely we're going to be getting some sort of big feature for GoFest. Like, this is the reason to play GoFest. And I think Mega Mewtwo will be the reason. I think, especially with Black and White Kyurem coming to Pokemon Go, like, let's just be honest. There's only, I think, a couple big features. Like, hey, this is how I think about it. when Niantic, like the biggest things that Niantic can drop in Pokemon Go, things like the fusions of Necrozma, Mega Rayquaza, Mega Mewtwo, even things like Shiny Zygarde. These are like big features that will clearly get players back to the game because they are very loved. These things will always be dropped at big events because Niantic wants, I guess, like to be able to monetarily profit off of these features being dropped. So Mega Mewtwo is one of those big features. And other than Mega Mewtwo, I'm have it a hard time finding like what other big things Niantic could drop. I would think Eternatus would also be another one, which I don't think is going to come next year, but I think at some point Eternatus, Gigantamax Eternatus would be very possible to be like a feature for a GoFest or a Wild Area event to get players to play. Z-Moves, I think Z-Moves could be like a big reason for players to come back to Pokemon Go. I'd have to look at like Gen 7 legendaries and different like mechanics. Gen 8, I don't know what's in Gen 8. I guess like Gen 9, like Shen Pao, those. But anyway, like all I'm saying is like the next big thing in line that I think that could get dropped would be Mega Mewtwo or maybe Shadow Rayquaza. And either one of those two, I think, is most likely going to be our feature for GoFest 2024. 2025? Are we going into 20? Bro, what year is it? It's 2024. We're going into 2025? Oh, God. No, I'm kidding. It's great. 2025. GoFest, I think Mewtwo could definitely be a feature. But also, on top of the topic of GoFest, we always have a mythical dropped at GoFest. Last year was Marshadow, Gen 7. We're now going into Gen 8. And I was looking at like Gen 8, what could be the new legendary mythical? And Zeraora was the one that came up. I think Zeraora, is that Gen 7 or Gen 8? No, it's Gen 7. Okay, wait, so theoretically, Generation 8. Wait, this makes no sense. Zeraora I would love to see. But theoretically, Zeraora wouldn't be the mythical of this year. It would be Cubfu? Is Cubfu a mythical? No, it's not. Calyrex? Okay, either, this is what I'm going to say. GoFest always has a mythical. I wrote down Zeraora as the mythical, but if we got Marshadow last year, Marshadow is Gen 7, right? Unless, wait, what gen is Marshadow? Generation. Gen 7. Yes, it's Gen 7. Marshadow's Gen 7, so most likely Gen 8 will have a Generation 8 mythical Pokemon being released. I don't know if Calyrex is a mythical. Let me search it up. Calyrex. Calyrex mythical? Question mark. You know, Google does this like AI thing. It is. Okay. Okay, so most likely we'll get Calyrex then. Calyrex. Will we see Zeraora? Okay, Zeraora would be cool to see anyway. But if we do get Zeraora, my guess is Zeraora would be a raid Pokemon or like an elite raid Pokemon similar to Hoopa Unbound. That's kind of how I see it being released. Along the lines of like a Hoopa feature. So Zeraora would be cool, but most likely GoFest 2025. My predictions right now, I'm going to say Mega Mewtwo along with Calyrex. I think that could be cool. They could even make like a whole feature around Calyrex, and then there's Shadow Rider Calyrex and Ice Rider Calyrex. So maybe instead of Mega Mewtwo, we end up getting like some sort of fusion and that whole feature with the Calyrexes in Pokemon Go. Could be pretty cool. Anyway, that's my prediction. Now, where do I think GoFest is going to be next year? Because that is a big question. Now, people have told me this rumor's been coming around that Niantic has, we've seen it too. Like Niantic has multi-year contracts with certain companies in which they get like multi-year contracts where they have to like host an event at the same location. That's why we saw the Rose Bowl Stadium getting Rose Bowl Stadium is getting the, sorry, my brain, I'm looking at my Olivia Rodrigo Spotify just waiting to be played. That's why we saw Rose Bowl Stadium in LA being played as the Univitor again this year. However, next year, GoFest. We had New York City GoFest 2 years in a row. Personally, this is what I've heard. I've heard that people have said that it's a 3-year contract and we're going to get New York City GoFest 3 years in a row because they have to pay, they have to like lock in the contract to get a better price or something on the park and renting out the park. So Will I see New York City Go Fest? My guess is yes. Where else will the Go Fest be? There's always one in America, Europe, Middle East, and Africa-ish area. But again, there's never really been an event in Africa from what I remember. And then Asia. Obviously, Japan, I think, is going to get the Go Fest. It would be crazy if Japan didn't get the Go Fest. But my guess is Japan, some city in Japan. Where will it be? Will they run back Osaka? Will they run back Sendai? Will they go with a completely new city? Who knows? In Europe, I think we're going to be going to Italy. That's my guess. Where does this guess come from? It's just a random feeling. I don't think we're going to get Paris. This is what I think. Like in terms of like Go Fest cities in Europe, I think obviously I don't think it can ever really. Well, you know what? It could be Paris. My thoughts is just like in terms of pricing, I think there are certain cities in Europe that is just too expensive for Niantic. London, Niantic was able to somehow make happen. I'm not really sure how expensive that park they rented was, but in Europe, I don't really see it being Paris because I think the city is just too expensive. And there's other cities in Europe as well. I would see Italy, Rome, maybe. Rome could be expensive. I think there was just an event this morning that was announced in Milan, Italy, so that's cool, in March. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know where it could be in Europe. Really, the event could be anywhere. Maybe Germany again. We could run back Germany. You know what? The one thing is I will say, like, they have had a Go Fest in Berlin. They've had it in London. So maybe Paris is not off the board because those are pretty major cities. Maybe, who knows, Paris? I think it also maybe depends on, like, the theme and if they can tie the city into the theme of Go Fest. I don't know if they've ever really done that, but anyway. So I think New York, somewhere in Italy, and Japan, somewhere in Japan will be my guesses for the Go Fest of the year. Let me know where you think Go Fest is going to be this year. Obviously, the tour event is in LA. I could even see, by the way, if I'm predicting all the way to 2026, I think the tour could be in, I think they could run back LA again because they might again. I think it'll be a good tell if we end up getting New York City Go Fest in 2025, a third year in a row, then most likely it means that we're going to run back the 3 years of Univator in LA. Which again, I know a lot of you guys are hearing this and you're like, oh, this sucks. Let's just wait until we see what it ends up being. But this is kind of just how I guess it works. Because again, like it's so expensive. Like I'm curious how much money Niantic actually makes off in-person events. Because like, again, it's got to be so expensive to actually rent out parks and collaborate with local police and local authorities on running these events. Like, you know, like they're doing this new thing in LA with like the trains, right? And you're just like shadow Pokemon at the train stations. So I wonder how much that costs for them. Anyway, let's move on to the next prediction, which is something I think a lot of people have been predicting for the last little bit. And that's a level cap increase. We're at level 50 as the highest level. We had a recent video about this as well with Pokemon being caught above level 50. Will level 60 come? That's what I'm trying to point out. Will level 60 come to Pokemon Go? I hope. Do I hope? I'm not sure, actually. This is one where, like, I'm kind of happy where we're at with level 50. I do think level 60 would be fun and it would present all sorts of various new challenges and new reasons for players to play. And I've always been the believer of, like, people who are like, oh, no, I don't think level 60 should come because not everybody's level 50 yet. I don't think that's true. I think, like, the more features in Pokemon Go, the better. So theoretically, yes, I do agree. Maybe it's just because I'm lazy and I'm sick right now. And if level 60 dropped tomorrow, I would have FOMO because I couldn't really grind as efficiently as possible. But, what was I trying to say? Sorry, I keep getting distracted by this. It's Olivia Rodrigo. It's her Sour album cover. Anyway, and she's got like all the like, I don't know if it's like stickers on her face. Anyway, level 60. We have a full video about level 60, everything that if level 60 does come, most likely would link back to. So you can go ahead and watch that video. That's another YAP session. Just search level 60 in Pokemon Go. Do I think it's going to come in 2025? I will say I do agree with everybody's point that they've made that there has been a lot more XP events and just ways to grind XP, which could be leading towards a level up in Pokemon Go in the future. So who knows if level 60 will come? My prediction is that it will come this year. But I did talk about this in my other level 60 video. I do think if it does come, it's going to come in the spring season when there's nothing going on. Because obviously we have the Univator this season. Then the spring season, we could get level 60. And then the summer season, we'll get Go Fest. And in the fall season, we're going to get probably the Wild Area event again. So really, I think the spring season is always going to be the season where new features end up coming to Pokemon Go. And if we get one this year, it'll hopefully level 60. It could be something else. It could be something completely different. It could be like Z moves, or it could just be a regular old interlude season where nothing really happens, and Niantic uses it as an opportunity to kind of like stabilize the game, which would also be great. Finally, though, Gigantamax. Let's talk about it. Gigantamax, obviously, this is a big thing Niantic is really, really pushing. I think they're going to continue to push it in the new year. Most likely, we'll get a bunch of new Gigantamax bosses. I think was it All Creamy and Kingler were the two Gigantamaxes that were featured in the Gigantamax trailer. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a couple Gigantamaxes that we don't have in Pokemon Go yet that were featured in the trailer. So most likely, we will get those in 2025. I also do think that they're going to start dropping Pokemon as Gigantamax only. Now, obviously, Gigantamax has a bunch of... there's a bunch of Pokemon that have Gigantamax forms that haven't been dropped in Pokemon Go. Things like Grimmsnarl, and mainly I'm owning at Duraludon. Duraludon is a Pokemon we don't have in Pokemon Go yet. It has an evolution, Archaludon, I think. But I could very much see Niantic doing this, and I know you guys wouldn't like this. I wouldn't like this either. Niantic dropping Gigantamax Duraludon, and the only way to actually get Duraludon in your Pokedex is through the Gigantamax battles. There's no other way to get it. I could 100% see Niantic doing that. Would I be happy? No. That would suck. And I do hope that that's not the way that Duraludon gets dropped. But if it does end up happening, then I guess my prediction is correct. Anyway, I feel like some of my predictions here have more of a negative mindset, and I think it's just because of the patterns I've seen, the way Niantic drops different Pokemon, and just the way I see them, like how much they're excited about Gigantamax and they want people to go and take down Gigantamax and all that stuff. Like, I think I could see Niantic pushing towards Gigantamax Duraludon being a Gigantamax only Pokemon. I don't know. Anyway, finally, last thing we talk about, I mentioned this briefly earlier, Wild Area. Wild Area Part 2, could definitely see it being run back. Somebody brought this up, but I would love to see Mighty Pokemon making an appearance in other events like Univatour or in Go Fest, all that stuff. But Mighty Pokemon theoretically are only linked to the Wild Area event because if you don't know, in the main series games, there are certain Pokemon that technically were considered mighty. They were a much higher level, harder to catch in the wild areas of Sword and Shield. So I most likely potentially, I don't want to take back my predictions, but I think Mighty Pokemon might stay as a Wild Area only feature. And I hope it doesn't, but that might end up being the case. I do think the Wild Area was a huge success. I do think Niantic really enjoyed the Wild Area event. I think everybody enjoyed the Wild Area event. So I could very much us seeing another Wild Area event. I don't know. They'll probably just call it like Wild Area 2025 event. And then most likely it'll probably be very similar, which I don't think is wrong at all. I think we'll probably get some sort of new Gigantamax release. We'll probably get some sort of new Mighty Pokemon. There'll probably be some sort of theme. Again, we have the Poison Electric theme. Who knows, next year's Wild Area event, maybe it'll link back to Duraludon and we'll have a Duraludon Wild Area with Steel and Dragon type. That would be pretty cool. Steel and Dragon type Pokemon and Steel and Dragon type Mighty Pokemon. Who knows? Anyway, Wild Area Part 2 definitely will come in 2025 along with Go Fest, Univatour, and everything I mentioned. I'm getting hungry. Appreciate you all tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed. We're gonna be resting. We're gonna be resting for the rest of the day. Because I feel pretty sick. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys, or let me know actually in the comments what I would go through last week's comments, but I'm honestly just so exhausted right now that I'm not going to do that. So let me know what in the comment section below. What do you want to see in 2025 in Pokemon Go? What do you predict to see? And next week, when I'm hopefully feeling better, I will take a look at your predictions. I will deep dive into those. But I think that's it for me. I'm going to sit here. Probably have some more Halls, some Tylenols. Why do I always get sick, man? You guys have seen it too because we were sick in New York City Go Fest. I need tips in the comments to make my immune system stronger. I guess it's unavoidable though. Once you catch a cold, there's no cure. Someone come up with the cure to the common cold. Is it even a cold? Who knows? Anyway, appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Yeah, we'll catch you all next week. Adios. Peace. I'm not going over there to end the video. It's just going to end now.